Here's a quick music theory lesson on transposition. Most of the music we play is going to be in a Western 12-note system, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, with all of the sharps and flats in between. Here you can see all of these notes laid out. You can think of this as the frets on a guitar or the keys on a keyboard. If we add the sharps and flats, you'll notice that some notes have sharps and flats in between them, and some don't. If you color all the sharps and flats black, then you get the layout of a piano keyboard. This is where you get your groups of 2 and 3 black keys. Now most of the music we play is going to be based off of a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And if you lay these on the white keys starting on C, you'll notice that it is all of the white keys. There are no black keys involved in the key of C. Now these numbers not only correspond to the scale degrees, the notes in the scale of the key of C, but they also correspond to the chords in the key of C, and we'll see that in just a second. Now the nice thing about a major scale is that you can move it around to another key and get the same pattern. In the key of G major, I start on G, I end on G. It's still do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, but instead of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we get G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. But the pattern is the same. We're still in a major key. Now, like I said, these scale degrees not only correspond to the notes in the key, but they correspond to the chords in the key. And we get the quality of these chords based on the scale degree assigned to it. The 1 chord is always a major chord. So in the key of G, the 1 chord is G major. The 2 and 3 chords are always minor. So in the key of G, they would be A minor and B minor. The 4 and 5 chords are always major. The 6 chord is always minor. The 7 chord is always diminished. And again, the 1 chord is major. A shorthand we often use for this is to use Roman numerals. This is called harmonic analysis. The Roman numeral shows you the number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, but it also shows you the quality by being uppercase or lowercase. So you see that the 1 chord is an uppercase I, that means it's a major 1 chord. There is such thing as a minor 1 chord if you have a lowercase I, but in most cases, major 1 chord, minor 2 chord, minor 3 chord, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7, that's what the little circle is, and major 1. Now real quick, I don't want to get bogged down by music theory. Why is this helpful? How can we apply this practically? 1, 5, 6, 4. What that means is you play the 1 chord, then the 5 chord, then the 6 chord, then the 4 chord. In this case, it would be G major, D major, E minor, C major. And we know that because of both the key we're in and the qualities of the chords relative to the key we're in. So if I said, hey, let's play in the key of F instead, you would use the same methodology, the same pattern to determine F major, C major, D minor, B flat major. That would be your chord progression. Now let's say we want to play in a key like C sharp or D flat. That's not a fun key to play in on piano, guitar, or bass. So if you're a piano player, you have the option to play in the key of D and transpose down a half step. So on a keyboard that would be -1. Or you can play in the key of C and transpose up a half step, which is +1. This is also possible for a guitarist by putting your capo on the 1st fret and playing in the key of C. That moves you up a half step to the key of C sharp. You can't transpose down as a guitarist, you can only transpose up. Here's a chart that should be helpful to any guitarist looking to transpose using a capo. The top row, you see all 12 keys. Below that, you see the most common ways to capo them, all the way down to the least common ways to capo them. So let's start with the first one. If I have a song in the key of A that I want to play, and I don't want to play in the key of A, or it's not my first choice would be to play in the key of G, with my capo on the 2nd fret, which would transpose me up 2 half steps or a whole step to the key of A. The second option would just be to play A open, and the third option would be to play in the key of D with my capo on the 7th fret or D capo 7. All of these would put me in the key of A. If I want to play in the key of E flat, I would probably put my capo on the first fret and play in the key of D, or D capo 1. I could also put my capo on the 3rd fret and play in the key of C, or I could put my capo on the 6th fret and play in the key of A capo 6. So what you're going to need to do as a guitarist is print out the key that you want to play in and use your capo to determine what key you want to hear. So let's say you have a song in the key of F that you're playing on Sunday, and you don't want to play in F. You're going to need to print it out in the key of D and put your capo on the 3rd fret. So the chords you're playing are in the key of D, but the capo on the 3rd fret is transposing you up to the key of F. And obviously your second option would be to play in the key of C, so you would need to print out the key of C and to put your capo on the 5th fret.